Welcome to the Cincinnati Asian Arts Society's March 19th, 2023 program. I'm Margaret Ryan, the Secretary of the Society. Today we have a wonderful program. I actually suggested it because Teruko is a friend of mine and I've always been inspired by her work, so I'm really excited about this. She's going to be teaching us about Ikebana, the art of Japanese flower arranging. She's a certified teacher of the Sogetsu School of Ikebana. Teruko will share the history of Ikebana, including its importance in chabana, the practice of the tea ceremony. You'll see examples of the characteristics of this unique Japanese art form. During her demonstration, you will learn about artistic practices and explore the unlimited possibilities that Ikebana brings to your life. Teruko will show practical techniques and tips so that you can create your own masterpieces. Teruko Nesbitt was born and raised in Japan and has been living in Cincinnati since 1997, where she has been engaged in a wide variety of work related to the Japanese language, culture, and business, recently for the Japan-America Society of Greater Cincinnati. She holds a BA in English and American Literature from Kobe Kasai College and an MBA in International Business from Xavier University. She has worked for many years as an interpreter, doing both consecutive and simultaneous translations, and as a Japanese language instructor. Teruko holds licenses as a Japanese calligraphy Kana 3 Dan, and she received an Urasenkei tea ceremony beginner accreditation in 2018 and continues to actively study that art. In addition, Ms. Nesbitt currently represents the Cincinnati area for the Japan Intercultural Consulting, headquartered in Chicago, and helps Japan-related businesses be more successful in their cross-cultural interactions and business dealings. Please welcome Teruko Nesbitt. Thank you.
Hi, good afternoon. Thank you so much for your kind introduction. I am very excited, and also thank you so much for having me today. When I heard this event, I was a bit hesitant because there are so many other people who already practice Ikebana for many, many years, longer than me, but I thought this is a great opportunity for us all Ikebana practitioner to share the beautiful Japanese culture with you. So I thought this is great. So I just took the opportunity. So we only have 1 hour, so I would like to start. As introduction said, I'm talking about the history of Ikebana, including chabana. I practice tea ceremony too, so I think it was a great things to talk about. And you can see the difference between chabana and Ikebana. So this is the first slide. This is the flower arrangement I did for last year exhibition. So just for the, okay. So I think everybody knows what Ikebana is. Basically, it's just arranging flower. But Ike and Ikeru and ikasu, those Japanese words just has more than just arranging. So it's like alive, make it alive, put the breath into it, or make some good use of it. So ikeru means more than just arranging, especially for Japanese. And the hana is flowers, and hana and bana are the same thing. So it's a bit Japanese language study here, but then Ikebana. And then you heard also the word kado. Are they different? Actually, they're the same. Ikebana and kado is both are same. But in us, for example, especially for Japanese people, kado has more meaning. So ikebana is out of arranging. It's like ikebana is my hobby, enjoyment, and just expression of my artistic talent or something. But kado, when we say kado, you can see the picture there. The bottom picture is from Ikenobo. It's a New Year event. So they get together, and that's the temple. I'm going to explain this more later, but it's more than just arranging flowers, just hobby. They use this experience or study for the lifetime path way to develop yourself and improve yourself, challenge yourself, and train yourself. So it says the kado, the way of flowers, is not limited to simply decorating flowers, but emphasize etiquette, practice, and more mental discipline, such as cleaning, how to deal with the flowers, how to respect flowers, not wasting flowers. All those little things are included in their study, and a little bit more spiritual thing you can find. So why Japan is been enjoying Ikebana, and then Ikebana now, the world, so many people in the world are practicing Ikebana. Why we're became famous, and it also drove the attention as a Japanese, one of the traditional beautiful culture of Japan. Japan is blessed with 4 distinct seasons. And then seasonal flowers and trees are always very close to us. As you know, of course, the US has beautiful 4 seasons, but Japanese emphasis on 4 seasons is kind of maybe a bit unique for other people. I heard the people from outside of Japan, why Japanese people are emphasize 4 seasons? Everybody has 4 seasons. But we find something a little bit more than just changes of seasons. So I want to mention this as a background or foundation of Japanese spirituality, and also the background why Ikebana was developed and people are engaging with Ikebana so much. So we can see, and then we can see some kind of proof on that. So as I said, the nature in Japan is just so close to the people's life. More than 70% of the Japanese archipelago is mountainous. So throughout the year, flowers and trees are always very close to the people's life. So one of the things you can see, there's a collection of poems, waka. There is oldest compiled poem collections called Manyoshu. And there is more than 4,500 waka poems. Waka is different from haiku. Haiku is 575, 575 syllables. You can put seasonal words and then create a short poems. And then waka is 575, so 57577. So total 31 syllables. You put whatever you feel, poems, feelings into that song. And so these are the collection. This is the collection of those poems. And then the writers or song creators are like farmers and the emperors, men and women. So this is the real proof of regular people and then low and high ranking. So everybody's poems were compiled in this book. And that was like early 600 and 700. And among them, there's so many songs, poems about flowers. So people appreciate flowers. And there's another thing I would like to point out is, so Shintoism is a Japanese indigenous religion. Shintoism is many gods. We have many gods. People find gods in the sky, mountains, and rivers, maybe stones. So to offer, to respect and a bit decoration, but we use, for that purpose, we use evergreen leaves. And those trees are believed, as I said, yorishiro, maybe you've never heard of it, but something, the gods coming down and stay there. So that's the green, tall evergreen trees. The gods were coming and dwell there. So that's why people use those evergreen trees or leaves for the Shinto altar. And another example, probably this is maybe so familiar to you too. We have, for New Year's, we have green pine trees and then bamboos and those green trees in front of the entrance gate or door and decorate for New Year celebration. And then believe the gods were coming down through. It's like the sign for the gods come to this place. So, so these practice is also a foundation or the people's spiritual needs to use all those natural materials. And then another big thing is Buddhism was introduced to Japan, when was it? So 538 or 552, the Buddhism was introduced to Japan, originated in India and through China and Korea Peninsula, and came to Japan. And that temple and then Buddhism is deeply related to our flower arrangement. So the Buddha, probably you know, he is sitting on the lotus flowers. And then Buddha reached to his enlightenment after many years contemplating. First he holds the lotus bud, and then after the enlightenment, he holds the opened lotus flower. So the lotus flower is India's national flower, but in Japan, you can see a lot of lotus flowers. And there's the picture there. It's a frog. I think it's very funny. It's Choju Giga. And it's like Heian period. It was drew in Heian period. So lotus, the frog is sitting on the lotus flowers, and then again frog mimicking like a Buddha, and then the other one is priest. So this was left. We see this. So lotus flowers, and then also the regular flowers is related deeply to the Buddhism practice. So, so those are the background before even Ikebana started. So when we talk about history of Ikebana, we can go through the eras. So I just put this one. I hope it's large enough for you guys to see. Kamakura period. So after Buddhism was introduced, so they have this mitsugusoku, we call it, the vase, the center, a little picture there, the vase and the incense burner, and then candle holders. Those are the very important three tools or items on the Buddhist altar. So widely accepted, people accepted these three for the altar. The flower is arranged in the vase, and it's going to on the top of the Buddhist altar, Buddhism altar. And that is the beginning of or practice of arrangement there. We can see. And then the muromachi is the warriors' Bushi samurai's era there, but that's the time. The shoin zukuri, you can see the picture of that Japanese house. Actually, this is so popular, even I think now, the house I grew up has exactly the same alcove, and then also the chigaidana, the shelf to level of shelves. So that architectural style was developed to find the places to decorate the arts, ornamental object from China then. So we have painting, scrolls, and then alcove. We have a place to decorate with flower arrangement, and chigaidana too. So those architectural style encourages us to do more flower arrangement, finding the place to decorate. So then we cannot ignore this. This is so important. Some of them practice ikenobo, so famous. Without talking about history of ikenobo, we cannot talk about the history of Ikebana. So ikenobo is the founder of Ikebana. So there's in Kyoto, these pictures are, 4 of them are taken by myself. I visited Rokkakudo, the temple, the name Choho Temple, but we call it Rokkakudo because of the you can see the hexagonal shape of their roof, Rokkakudo, and then that's the place Ikenobo was living. I mean, Ikenobo, the priest of Rokkakudo, is the one who started Ikenobo. Why we call it Ikenobo? Ike is a pond, and Bo is the place the priest lived. So Ikenobo is the place the priest lives, and then because of the temple, they arrange flowers and offer to the Buddha in their Rokkakudo, this temple, every day. So the flowers were offered to the Buddha morning and evening, so they start developing more techniques and then more variations of the arrangement. So this is the most important factor. The Ikebana was originated as an offering to the Buddha in the temple. And then and again, through the generations, the Ikebana techniques and Ikebana had been developed, and then the right side, the photo, the top of the right, you can see it might not be clear, but there's iron or bronze Ikebana statue there. It was like the style of Ikenobo. We call it Rikka. We talk about that a little bit later. But Rikka style arrangement was outside of the Ikenobo building and temple, permanently decorated that area. So, and then the middle one, center picture at the bottom, that says
this is the place for kado. Kado. So I said Ikebana and kado the same thing, but kado originated here. Kado was born here. So it says it. And this is one of the temples people are visiting, looking for blessings and avoiding all those unfortunate things. Just one of the popular temples. And so if you have a chance, go to Kyoto. I really think you can enjoy that. And this temple was built by Shotoku Taishi. And why this temple? Because the first priest called Ono no Imoko was one of the envoy mission members to China. So because of that, they have deeper relations where the temple was practicing Buddhism and then Ikebana. So Ikenobu, as I said, a priest of Rokkakudo, a little later than that, Ono no Imoko, was asked to arrange some Ikebana by a warrior, wealthy family house. And then he made the arrangement, and that was beyond traditional Ikebana, offering Buddhist altar. It's just beautiful. I can show you this one. So it beyond people's, conventional image of Ikebana, and he was raved and then draw a lot of attention. So this is a reproduction in 2000, I think it was 2000 something, but it was original one is 1594. In the bottom of this arrangement, sand was filled. So as if it's real trees and flowers coming out from the ground. Okay, so the period has moved on a little bit, and then now we have Azuchi Momoyama, famous for Nobunaga Oda Nobunaga, and Toyotomi Hideyoshi. Those are the time. This is the time for them, and then Rikyu, Sen no Rikyu is a tea master. Those Oda Nobunaga and Toyotomi Hideyoshi were so into the tea ceremony. Of course, tea was brought from China. Green matcha tea was brought from China originally by the priest because they need to wake up and then keep awake themselves, and then for their training and then maybe chanting and everything. So they need to, they can't sleep. So they use the green matcha tea to keep themselves awake, or also used as a medicine. So by Rikyu, Sen no Rikyu, the tea was perfected in Japan too at that time. And then this time, you can see that's the tea room actually, Rikyu's tea room. So because of the tea ceremony was cherished by all those shoguns and then wealthy warriors, more and more people are interested in tea ceremony. And then one of the factors for tea room is, of course, tea furnace and cups and everything. But again, there's alcove, tokonoma, so they decorate that place with flowers. But chabana is so different. So cha is tea, bana is flower. So tea flowers, especially for tea room. And then Rikyu, the tea master, said flowers should be in the vase, but they are like in the field. They look like they are in the field. So that's one of his principles. And then with the comparison with the very fancy rikka, the upright ikebana, the tea flowers is just so different. Tea flowers should be very simple, and then more natural looking. Very simple wabi-sabi tea room is the one where tea flowers decorated, so should be suitable for that tea room. So chabana should be small and free form. There's no basic format for that, but there's some kind of rules for chabana. That it should not smell strong. It should not have strong fragrance because it disturbs the tea ceremony. Flowers with poisonous color, the too bright, too almost, there's some flowers a little bit too much in color and shape. So we should avoid those flowers for tea rooms. Thorns needs to remove or avoid those kind of flowers. And the flowers not in season. Those are some kind of rules for tea flowers. There's a famous episode or story about tea flowers and then Sen no Rikyu and also Toyotomi Hideyoshi. So Toyotomi Hideyoshi, then shogun, heard the tea house owned by Sen no Rikyu. In their premises, there's beautiful morning glory, blooming, beautiful. So he wanted to see, the shogun wanted to see those flowers and then visit Sen no Rikyu's tea house, little hut, but tea house. And then he arrived with his subordinates and then didn't see any morning glories, looking around, nothing. So he became furious. He knew there was morning glories, and then he went there, there's none. And then after that, he entered the tea room. There's one single morning glory in the little vase in the tea room. It was white and shining and waiting for him. So that's the spirit of tea flowers. I think it shows the significance of that difference. And then move to Edo period, famous Edo period. All arts, block print, ukiyo-e, all other things, just arts and traditional crafts. The beginning of those things were, I think, created in Edo. And in this age, different from rikka, created by ikenobo, it's tall, straight up. The one you see in the picture, the outside of the ikenobo building, different from those things, those style. Shoka is almost like current ikebana style, simpler form of flower arrangement, and then because of simplicity and more freedom there, so it became very popular in this age. You can see the pictures of there. The women start arranging, they enjoyed it. And then this time of the period, many different schools were born, and then people will start doing all kinds of things, like stretching too much and different styles. Almost they can do anything they like. But so the flower arrangement, the masters start worrying about it and try to protect their own style. So they established the iemoto, headmaster system. So people need to come and learn and then probably certified, maybe a little bit different from nowadays, but certified. So they're trying to protect and control the styles they teach. But became very popular with a lot more freedom than the original Ikebana style. So using one of 3 types of flowers to express the appearance of plants. Okay, so this is rooted. So as I said, the branches and flowers are coming from the mouth of the from the kenzan, but as if it's like growing from the ground. That's one of the style. We call it shoka or seika. It's close to the current ikebana, moribana. Okay, so Meiji, after Edo period, so I need to mention during the Edo period, almost 280 years, the Japan's closed the country, except a few ports for the trade. So it was a great conditions or environment. All the people, without getting any disturbance from outside of the country, they flourished in arts and traditional crafts. That was the Edo period. And after that, there's Meiji. That's the time Japan needed to open their country and then introducing all those Western styles of housing and clothing and of course, including flowers. So Meiji is the big change in Japan. So because of that, opening up the country, so they had a chance to bring all those beautiful flowers from outside of the Japan. So plants, and then one of the Ikebana master here created moribana here. That's ohara. You might heard there's some people studying ohara ikebana. At the same time, because it was too much Western style living or concept came in, the traditional Japanese ikebana was becoming less popular. People are probably distracted to other things, and then the population who studied ikebana is going to decline. So the Japanese government decided, okay, so let's use ikebana or take ikebana as an educational tool. So that's a bit later, but so many women are studying ikebana, including my mother too. Ikebana or tea ceremony, those things are the things that before you marry, you want to learn, and then in married, you practice ikebana at your home. So that became an educational subject, and for the good wives and mothers, right? So that gives the ikebana society, ikebana, again to grow into the larger stage. Okay, so it's close to now, or currently, I should say, there's more than officially recognized ikebana schools. There are more than 400, but among them, Ikenobo, that's the founder of ikebana, and then Sogetsu, that's my school, the school I belong to, and Ohara. Those three are the largest one. And then there's another Ryusei, Sagagoryu, Mishoryu, Koryu are also well known. My mother practiced Mishoryu when she was young. And the Ikenobo doesn't have the word ryu. Sogetsu ryu, Ohara ryu, Ryusei ha. Ryusei it's hard to say ryu. So instead of saying ryu, they use ha. It's some kind of a group, the name of the group. So ryusei ha, Sagago-ryu, Nishoryu. Why Ikenobo doesn't have to say Ikenobo-ryu? Because they are the origin. There's the original. All other schools are separated from Ikenobo. So they are the schools, but Ikenobo is always Ikenobo. So Sogetsu is 1927. It's pretty young, considered the more than 500 years of Ikebana history. Sogetsu is pretty new. In a few years, they're going to celebrate 100 years of their establishment. So I would like to mention about Sogetsu Ikebana a little bit because this is the one I study. In 1927, so everybody believes that practicing Ikebana, following all those traditions, strict rules, spirituality and everything. But Sofu, this is the founder of Sogetsu, Teshigahara Sofu. He, since he was little, he studied Ikebana with his father in a traditional way. In a way, they create almost the same arrangement. Do this, do that. This should be here, and this stem should be here. That's the way we learn at the beginning, at least. And then he thought, everyone is making the same arrangement is not creative. So he separated himself from his family. He established Sogetsu School in 1927. So this is the current one. There's a big headquarters in Tokyo, Sogetsu Kaikan in Tokyo here. That's the center photo designed by Tange Kenzo, is a very renowned architect. And also the left picture is inside open space. I've been there a few times. It's a beautiful open space called Heaven, and there's water there, and designed by Isamu Noguchi. And then the picture at the right is the Sogetsu West. There's a Kyoto class, Kyoto office too. So the motto of Sogetsu Ikebana is anytime, anywhere, anyone. So less restrictions. Of course, you have to study the basics, but after that, you can, they encourage you to use your own creativity. So anyone can enjoy Sogetsu Ikebana anytime, anywhere, or even with any materials, they say, using, it says here, okay. You can play Sogetsu Ikebana at your door, in your living room, anywhere. Sogetsu Ikebana enhance any hotel lobbies. So this pictures, it's actually the hotel where their Kyoto West resides. And then this is the picture on the right is there's a Japanese wagashi shop in Kyoto. So they contract, and then they provide Ikebana decoration. Okay, so this is the running through quickly about history and then a little bit of Ikebana school present day. Do you have any questions? Anything?
So my mother told me that when you're doing Ikebana, it was important to wear a kimono. She enjoyed wearing a kimono while she practiced Ikebana. Is there anything to that?
You don't have to, but that makes your attitude change, might be. So we don't wear kimonos. when we do, because it's hard to move, and then long sleeve of kimono maybe it's not suitable for all the hard work. Ikebana sometimes it's not an easy, quiet things. You can just use the big scissors and then cut. Sometimes a little saw. So it's not a practice for kimono. I said, sorry.
Because we are recording this, we have a YouTube channel of all of our Cincinnati Asian Art Society programs, so you can always go back or share them if you think you know a friend. When you have a question, I'm going to repeat it so that it's clear for the people watching that video. So does anyone else have a question?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the question was, in the image of the large ikebana, was bonsai part of the arrangement?
And is that special to that?
And is that just special to that, or is that ongoing?
I think we can say ongoing, because the bonsai and ikebana are very has a same element. It is, we are recreating the natural, and the bonsai is also miniature, the natural trees. So in a way, we're doing the same thing. But ikebana is so spontaneous in a short time, short life. But bonsai taking 2 years, 3 years, or 5 years, and creating miniature as if the real tree, right? Pruning. So in that sense, yes, they sometimes look alike, and we might be doing the same thing, but in a different timeline.
In Western, we often have different kind of foam stuff that we stick our cut flowers into to hold them in position. And she was going to be demonstrating to us their method of what they use to anchor the plants in the arrangement the way they want it to be. Anyone else? In history, in the past and in current times, how do you decide, how do you get a hold of those flowers or things that you want to use in your arrangements?
Hold.
Like, where do you get your flowers?
Oh, okay. Anywhere, actually. And I'm trying to grow flowers in my yard. But for the museum, you were not supposed to use any flowers from outside. So today's flowers are from shops. And I use a wholesaler. So you need to buy flowers for certain arrangement, like today. But you can grow your flowers for especially chabana. That's the natural one you can pick from your yard and then put in a small vase, and you can decorate your tea room. And so that's from your yard.
She will be demonstrating, and you're more than welcome to ask questions during that. First, I want to thank Teruko for her wonderful presentation. I know I learned a lot about her history. I really appreciated her giving us that whole background as to when we look at something, how did that come to be in the different cultures.
Yeah. So I prepared for 3 arrangements today. One is some kind of basic, but variation of basic style. So I prepare some flowers. Yeah, come on over.
Come to the back because of the recording.
I can back that end.
Yeah.
From way down here would be fine. But
Okay.
Don't
Okay.
off the camera, please.
Yeah, and then I would like to introduce my friend, and then she's studying Ikebana with me together. Masako is helping me today. She's one of our teachers in the study group, so she's helping us. So I'm going to do, so you can do flower arrangement all with flowers, but using branches makes a nice structure, and then it's just having branches is nice and add more Japanese taste, and then give us an easy way to structure the arrangement. So there's some
not rules, but some kind of suggestions. So when you have a container like this, and then you don't know, okay, I have this and I have something like big branches like this. And then can we do this? The long one just like this? Is that too long? So when you decide where to cut your stems or branches, there's some suggestions there. Those came from the flower school. They experiment going back and forth, and they find out a very nice ratio of that. So this one usually, so this is the longest one. There's main stems. Usually 3 main stems. Some school calls like Shin Soe Uke and Shin Soe Hikae in our school. Somebody said heaven and earth and the man, but probably the same thing. And then some school has, okay, tilt 45 degree or 30 degree. You know, they're doing the same thing, but our school has our own style too. So I'm going to do the arrangement based on the school I learned in the school. So this is the longest one, and I'm going to use this as a second main stem, and then third one probably, I think I'm going to use this. So the first one can be the height in the diameter plus 50% of that, or twice, or same. So height, diameter, and I'm going to add 50% and a little bit more. So, and then I'm using kenzan. Somebody was asking, what do you use? This is, some people call frog or needle frog, but this is kenzan. Ken is a sword, and san is a mountain. So this is the kenzan. This is the hanadomen, we call it. And then, of course, when you buy flowers, the most important thing is cut their stems under the water. That's the most important thing. And there's other ways to keep the flower fresh longer, like a burning, or put alum powder there, or let them drink whiskey or something. But usually I just cut in the under the water. So when you cut, the branches needs to be cut with diagonally, because if it's straight flat, it's hard to push down on the needles. But those soft stems, when you use this, soft stems needs to be cut straight. If you cut diagonal, it's too weak to stay. Yeah, so, okay, this one. So I would like to tilt this way. Well, this way. Yeah. So flowers. And then there's always back side and front side. So make sure facing the front. Yeah. So I'm going to tilt this. So towards tilt, the way you want to tilt. So I'm going to cut this diagonal so that I can tilt this. The longer stem there. Yeah. So. So I'm going to put this one about 45 degree. And I'm going to use this short one as a second stem. Again, same thing, but I'm going to use this as towards 15 degree, towards a little bit, and then make sure the front. So I'm going to cut this one. So some people bring the Western style scissors, but it's so different from this.
this cut, this Japanese Ikebana scissors, this cut most of the branch easily. Yeah, so this one is 50. Right? And then this one, okay, so the second stem length is probably 3/4 of this. This is a bit short, but I didn't have longer one with the flowers, so I'm going to use this. So it's like a standard ratio, but again, use your eyes, and then depending on the material you have, you cannot do exactly rules. This one can be the 3/4 of this or half of that, but I'm just having a little bit longer than that, and I cut straight here. And this is a chrysanthemum. This is wonderful. In Japan, sometimes they didn't like using this for flower arrangement because this flower is being used for funeral a lot, but it doesn't matter. It's very pretty. There's a very tiny leaves. Remove that tiny leaves. We don't need those tiny leaves. So cut those things and clean, and then short straight. And then I think I'm going to have this. This is a little bit. And then this one goes to 75. 75. And then these are the three main stems. And then you're going to fill. And then in Sogetsu, you should not show any this kenzan. You want to hide it. You don't want to background mechanics into your arrangement. You don't want to show it. So sometimes with the fillers, sometimes something like this, I'm going to start hiding those things. But so again, I'm going to cut. And this was very, the leaves are very, looks weak, but with the water, mizukiri and everything, it start become very genki. So, all right. So, yeah.
How long will an Ikebana arrangement stay fresh looking?
Well, depend on the mizukiri or the treatment you give before that, or maybe you can use the water with the flower food. You can get. So I think I'm going to use the shorter one front, and then. So the problem is I cannot see the front. So. All right, and then. I'm going to double check later, though. So we call it. These are subordinate, supporting flowers. So, and then this one is a long flowers like this. So I cut the top, and then put them together. And sometimes wires, and this one I use a tape and then put it together. I wanted to do everything in front of you, but since the time is limited, so I needed to prepare. So I think I'm ready to, or you can put the water a little bit earlier, but so I'm going to put this water here, so that, okay. And this one is, this format is very nice because you can see from 4 different directions. We called it shiho shomen. Shiho is 4 direction, shomen is front. So you can, it's almost 360. So I'm going to add one more flowers a little bit behind. And then when you cut these stems, And then if you think you don't need these leaves, don't peel like this. And then you cannot use it again. So like here in the water, so you can use these leaves if it's necessary. Yeah? So that's one thing you can do. I'm going to use.
Any rules to how many flowers you can do?
Yeah. Yes and no. Actually, in Sogetsu, it's okay to use even numbers. So Japanese usually prefer 1, 3, 5, 7 odd numbers, right? But sometimes I do the arrangement with 2 big flowers. If you add 1 more, that's too big. So you use your judgment. So, but preferably maybe the odd numbers might be looking better, or so it's really there's no right and wrong. It's your arrangement, right? So if you like it, that's great. And if people don't like it, too bad. Thank you.
Teruko, are
Yeah.
those wax flowers?
Yes, wax flowers.
I've seen a technique where instead of using the frog to hold the items up, they use the natural material itself to create a framework, perhaps like bending the stem between 2 edges of the vase. Is that a different particular style?
No, you can use any of those techniques. I see so many because Ikebana is now world wide hobby. So I see so many interesting new techniques and then learn from them. So instead of using traditional way, if you can hold the flowers and branches in that way, no problem, I think. But when you use these kenzans, probably you want to hide that. I saw other schools. I studied Ohara too. They don't care much about if there's Ohara students. I'm sorry, but they don't care much about the showing kenzans. But some people just kenzan, So in Sogetsu, if you can't not hide it anyway with the flowers or anything because of your design, usually we use stones. Yeah. So most of the time, if you push down a little bit, you can hide kenzan more effectively. So I think time is not is a bit limited. So I'm going to move on to the next one. Doko? Hai, sumimasen. So I want to see that. I want to. Okay, so I'm sorry. So so this is traditional Japanese. いけばなです。ちょっとそう、雅子さん is going to fix a little bit. So, okay, the next one I wanted to share was using Sogetsu iron. So Sogetsu is really a group of artists. They have ceramic kiln and a ceramic studio. They have those iron containers. They create those things constantly. So this is one of that. I think I'm going to use this. And then another material I want to use is camellia. I really like camellia. And I ordered it, and I wanted to have some little flowers on the branch. But they don't. So you can tell I wanted to prepare a
as much as possible. And I start cutting. So in the preparation, oh, I don't need this, I don't need that. And then almost I'm finishing my arrangement. Oh, no, 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 I cannot finish my arrangement. I have to do this in front of people. So that's the probably everybody knows when if you arrangement. This is so spontaneous. It's in a way very scary because you really cannot prepare much if you want to demonstrate in front of people. You can't finish the arrangement. Nobody's watching you. The nice, okay, taking a picture and that's it. But you want to show how I struggle, how that's the important thing. So in that sense, I really don't mind. So I'm just cleaning up a little bit. So when you receive those things, it's pretty, but you have to clean up a little bit. What kind of things you want to clean? Broken leaves, wilted, and overlapped, and not showing much of the line of your branches. Yeah. And of course, depending on your design, you can, of course, okay, I'm going to leave this dot, dot, dot without cleaning. But most of the time after the leaves taken, you want to clean up the those things too. Clean. Yeah? So, I don't know which one I'm going to use. Okay, so it's the water in there already. So, and I need to remember this. This needs to be on your side. So, in the everyday practice in the class, I tell people clean up as much as you can before you put in the vase or push into the kenzan. So this is a freestyle. It's completely free. And then in this case, I cannot talk much about how to bend stems and then hold it. So there's a direct fixation instead of using some kind of technique. You can just cut in shape. So cut in shape. And this surface going to attach to the wall of the vase. So it stays that way. So, again, it's almost funny doing this from the behind, but that's so we'll see. So some points I always a bit be careful is the flowers not like flat, always up and downs and then back and forth. So create more dimension. Yeah? So that's a very good one. Happened to be the first one is almost
160. You can see from the behind, and then this side and this side. But there's a arrangement strictly from the front, like alcove. You don't need to worry about people are going to the side and look at the side view because it's in alcove. But nowadays, at least 3 sampo shomen. So forget about the back, but at least 3 side needs to be good enough to for the viewers. I think that's better. I think. So I think there's people. Is Virginia here? No. Oh, Virginia! Okay, so Virginia is one of my teachers, and so I have a very, very good experience. And then the school I studied here is Sogetsu Cincinnati, and Noriko Fields was the founder. And then Virginia is original member, and I think he holds the highest degree of Sogetsu, our school, I think in Cincinnati. She's our honorary member and teacher. And then I saw Diana. Yeah, she's another. So we have a very nice group of people who practice Ikebana, which is some kind of, to me, it's like a lifetime treasure. And I need to mention one more thing. It's about flower. So as you can see, there's a very nice concept. In tea ceremony, Rikyu, Sen no Rikyu said, Ichigo Ichie. Ichigo Ichie is maybe probably famous once in a lifetime. So one encounter, one time. So those flowers never be the same. I cannot do the same thing again, right? So flowers I took with my hands is really Ichigo Ichie. Soon it's gone. Never be the same. Even if I order the same camellia, they're not the same. So it's natural nature, right? So in that sense, this is, I thought, this is too difficult, or I've never been satisfied with this. Always there's something. But I thought, no, this is just one in a lifetime encounter, so I should enjoy, in a way, I should accept. Today, Simon said, you have to accept yourself. You know, you recognize yourself and everything. And I really think it can be said for flower arrangement too. You know, just enjoy the time, and then sometimes you're going to be a bit spiritual, and then the lifetime, you know, life concept you can find in arranging something and then contemplate. So the third one I want to make is table flowers. So you have a guest and dinner, you put something on the table. The rule of this table flowers is, so you sit the table and then you put the hands like this. Should be lower than this. Yeah? So, and then should be looked from 4 sides, different sides. So again, this is, I'm going to make something.
So what is the plant you're using right now?
This is foxtail fern, I believe. Yes.
The upper left, maybe, it looks like maybe are those feathers, or are they just dried?
That one. Yeah, dried. So thank you for asking. Sogetsu
is, encourage us to be creative, and at anytime, anyone, anywhere, any material, right? So we use a lot of dried material too. There's things, dried materials, or even papers, plastic. So you do. I think I'm going to do. Okay. So all green leaves only. All kinds of themes. Tall vertical one, or long horizontal one. So you practice depending on their assignment giving us. So
Are those tulips?
these are tulips, and then double, triple layered petals. It's just so beautiful. It's so cute. So this is my favorite now.
And for the stems, are you putting them into the frog, or is there clay?
Into the
around?
frog.
Into the
There's no clay. There's no oasis.
But
So
they're not falling over.
no. So, and if you stab too many, it's becoming soft. So in that case, you have to cut and then make a new surface and then press it. I don't know the name of these flowers, but it just lasts long. It's more than a week. It's just blooming. And then sometimes, depending on the flowers, some like this one, the snapdragon. Okay, so the leaves are so weak. So as soon as you get it, and if you know you are not going to use those long stems and leaves, clean up, and they last longer. So this one is kind of more like a Western style. And then this is just a soft stem, so easy to stab into the frog. But if this is the big stem, the one I used, too hard to get into the needle, you cut cross and stab it in case of the stems. This is not the stem, so I mean the branches. So, as I said, 360 degree. So you want to so I have more tulips. Okay, got it. Here. So we're going to finish soon, so bear with me.
Teruko, it's really been great that you've shown us the different styles
Yeah?
so that we can all kind of imagine ourselves doing it at our own home.
Oh, good. Oops.
Any of you to come up and look at them closer, and then remember.
Yeah, I'm going to finish it, so come on over. Oh, thank you. ちょっと待って、もう一つぐらい。ここがちょっと足りないじゃん。